On now to our GMA cover story. The new series from former NFL linebacker Emmanuel Acho called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. Acho is going to join us live in a moment. First, take a look at his talk with Matthew McConaughey.
How can I do better as a human? How can I do better as a man? How can I do better as a white man?
You have to acknowledge that there's a problem.
Yes.
So that you can take more ownership for the problem. If there are two people with equal resumes, studies show that the person with the white-sounding name is twice as likely to get a call back as a person with a black-sounding name. You're a very successful man who probably has several people under you. Are you a part of that statistical problem? Are you looking at a resume saying, they sound a little too hood for me? I think individually, we must each fix the problem, because I believe that individuals, they affect the houses, and the houses, they affect the cities, and the cities affect the states, and the states affect the nation, and the nation affects the world.
Yes.
If we can get those handled through conversations like these, and I hope that y'all at home are having, then we can be at a point to focus on everything else. I do not think that there is such a thing as equality in America. The wake of slavery is still hitting African Americans. If you get on a boat, there is a wake that follows the boat. And although you might not still be driving the boat, there are African Americans getting smacked by the wake left of slavery. Systemic injustice, poor school systems, voter suppression. There's a wake. And so that's why things aren't equal. Only because there's still a wake from slavery. Don't feel guilty. Just acknowledge.
I heard this term, white allergies. White allergies. That by where we were raised and how we were raised in our history growing up, there's certain just imported obvious ways that we're prejudiced in ways that we don't even understand. We got white allergies and may not even know it.
The greatest white allergy that we see played out as black people, practically one of the greatest, backhanded compliment. Get this one. You're so pretty for a black girl. So that's to imply that being black.
It's for the black girl.
Yes.
For a black man part that becomes the allergy you don't see. Wait, you just gave me the backhanded indirect compliment. It was good with you're so pretty or you sound so smart.
But then you say, for this. I mean, and I think that the reason, McConaughey, that it's a white allergy is because white people don't recognize it.
What can I do? What's my responsibility?
People should take the responsibility proactively to say, you know what? Maybe I'm a part of the problem. Maybe I can fix this issue, not just by being not racist, but by being anti-racist. Right. Maybe I can level the playing field and make it a fair fight.
And Emmanuel Acho is going to join us live right now. He has sparked quite a conversation. It is wonderful to see you. And I have to tell you, I've had many conversations. White friends have reached out to me. We've had enlightening conversations. Black colleagues have said the same thing, that they're hearing from their friends as well. Millions, Emmanuel, millions have viewed your videos. What do you think that means, and what has the reaction been to those videos?
Well, firstly, thank you, Robin. So gracious of you, and I'm glad that it sparked change. What it means is that hearts are opened. Minds are ready to turn. Lives are ready to be changed. Contrition is on the hearts of so many people. And by people, again, I mean my white brothers and sisters. What it means is that although it's been far too long, at least the time appears to be on the horizon where we can see true change, and the barrier, the racial divide between black people and white people will no longer exist. At least it won't exist at the same potency in which it has existed before. So I am so overjoyed when I see the responses to this video. 22 million people saw the first video, and over 2.5 million people have already seen the second, which debuted last night on my social media. So, Robin, I am thrilled, not at the publicity, but I'm thrilled because I'm truly seeing change in lives of America.
And Emmanuel, this is George here. You use a pretty provocative phrase, more is caught than taught. Yeah. What did you mean by that?
Someone sent me an email and they were like, well, you know, maybe racism will die off with our ancestors. I said, absolutely not. I said, more is caught than is taught. What I mean is that it does not matter so much of what you hear someone say. What matters is what you see someone do. And so if you grow up in a household where racism exists, your parents can tell you, you need to love everybody. Your parents can tell you, All men and women are created equal. But if they are racist, if you are hearing undertones of racism, that will be caught as children, and that will be delivered throughout generations. So racism won't die off with our fathers and our grandparents, because more is caught than is taught. So not only do you need to preach it, not only do you need to speak it, you gotta live it out.
Yeah. And Emmanuel, you also talked about something important with Matthew. You say you get this question a lot. What is the correct or better term to use, Black or African American?
So it's Black as opposed to African American when we're referring to Black people, because remember, not all Black people are African American. There are Jamaicans, there are Cubans in America, both of whom are Black, but they're not African American. There are also several African Americans, several Black people who don't refer to themselves as African American because they don't identify with their African heritage. Remember, Black is just an adjective closely identifying to one's skin color, very similar to white. But think about this, and I've never said this before. Think about this for a second. The fact that so many of my white friends, brothers and sisters, are hesitant about using the word Black, imagine what that means subconsciously about how we felt about Black people over the course of our lives. Imagine if we think that Black is in some way, shape, or form a derogatory term. Imagine what that has told us. Imagine what has exuded and permeated in the minds of our society over the course of years.
Yeah, it's such a change, too, and such an evolution. I'm a little bit older than you are, and when I was being brought up, we were told that African Americans showed more respect. You provide a good explanation of why it's not sufficient. But where should we take the conversation next?
It has to be taken into action. What I mean by that is it's not enough to now just allow certain racisms to exist. It's not enough to just listen. My goal was to start a dialogue so that my white brothers and sisters can listen, but now they need to speak, because my white friends, they can infiltrate spaces that a Black man like me never can. They will be in group messages. They will be at family reunions. They will be at family picnics. They need to, and my white friends need to speak out and call out these sort of racist ideologies, because I'm encouraged that our world will continue to coexist, but it starts with education. It starts with exposure, and it continues as communication.
Yeah, just hearing you describe about using the terminology Black, I got chills because I understood it on a completely different level. And you talk about not just being not a racist, but being anti-racist. What actions should we be taking?
So when you say not racist, that's simply to say, well, I don't say the N-word, or, well, I don't own slaves. That's not enough anymore. The actions you can take is when you're in your friend circles and you hear someone say, he's not even Black, or he doesn't talk like he's Black, or my personal favorite, you're like an Oreo. You're Black on the outside, white on the inside. Speak on that and call that out, because that is now being anti-racist. It's not enough to just personally not say the N-word. It's not enough to just personally not think bad things about Black people. But when you hear it, speak on it, because we need a society who the people that are unaffected, they care just as much about the injustice as the people that are affected.
Amen. Emmanuel Acho, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.